Yo, what's up? Welcome back, everybody. One Piece chapter 1085 is out, and oh my god, there's so much to talk about. Oda is really messing up the fan base with this one. But before we get started, make sure you guys smash that like button. That's how we get this algorithm going so we can build this channel, we can build this community. Make sure you guys hit the like button. And of course, make sure you subscribe. If you're new here, we are on our way to our first 400 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe if you want to be in that 400 crew, and let's get straight into it.
Hey, listen!
So this chapter is titled The Death of Nefertari Cobra, and it is so appropriately named. It actually begins with Nefertari Cobra pondering to himself, looking at Imu while he sits on the empty throne, except it ain't so empty with him on there. Of course, we've all been led to believe that the throne was empty because the world government is a system of countries to where none of them outweigh the other, right? None of them can rule the other because the One Piece world has a democratic system. So Cobra asks him, yo, who the hell are you? I recognize that name Imu, and it doesn't surprise me that within the first 20 kings, but before he can finish that statement, Imu cuts him off and is like, don't pry. I'm not answering that question. And honestly, guys, my mind is already blown, right? How does Cobra recognize who Imu is? Does this confirm that Imu is in fact from the Void Century, or is Imu related? Imu definitely has to be related to somebody from the first 20 kings, right? But we continue. From here, Imu responds to Cobra and actually answers his question that he had for the Gorosei in the last chapter, which is about the initial D. And they go on to say that the D stands for those who opposed us in the days long ago, and that the D that emerged in events nowadays, yeah, they're just basically a hollow shell of what they used to be, right? It's basically saying that the D's nowadays, the Luffy's, the Aces, they really ain't nothing. They go on to say that there wouldn't even be a D clan right now if it wasn't for Queen Lily's mistake from 800 years ago. A blunder, he calls it. And he goes on to say that the scholars and even the pirates that are in search for the poneglyphs right now, if it wasn't for that mistake, we wouldn't have the poneglyphs today. And I gotta say, I'm curious as to what this mistake is. We know that Queen Lily never made it home to Alabasta. Did she get robbed on the way home? Did all the poneglyphs like fall into the sea and get washed up all over the world? Like, what happened? And Imu continues here. Man, we're getting a lot of dialogue out of Imu. And they say, listen, in the past, this was the worst case scenario and it happened. But was it really a mistake, or was it planned out? So clearly Imu is skeptical of the Nefertaris, which makes sense. I mean, these people never came to live with you guys in Mary Joa. They never technically placed their sword down at the empty throne. So why would they be trusted? From here, all 5 Gorosei members pull out the blicky on Kobe, and Imu basically says, listen, the answer to what happened with those poneglyphs lie in the letter that Lily sent to Alabasta right before she disappeared. So why don't you state the name of the sender of the letter left by the queen? Whoever sent the letter has to have some attachment to the D clan or the Void Century or the Ancient Kingdom or something like that. The sender is important. Now here, Cobra decides to ponder to himself, and he's like, listen, it's over for me and I'll never leave this room alive. No duh, bruh. Like, what were you thinking? You came in here, you started popping off, you started asking all these crazy questions. People that have literally died over researching this very topic. You thought that you were just gonna walk out of here? Are you stupid or are you dumb? So Cobra figures he has nothing to lose here, and he asks him straight up, hey, if I lie about this, can I leave? He figures he has nothing to lose, right? The worst they can say is no. And that's exactly what they say. No. Once you saw Lord Imu, your fate was decided. And Cobra thinks to himself, yeah, I guess that's a given. This is the world's greatest taboo. Something is up with Imu that it's very off. If Cobra's calling Imu the world's greatest taboo, then just Imu's existence is extraordinary in some sort of way. From here, we actually cut to Sabo, who's eavesdropping on the conversation so casually, and this man just snuck in there like, yo, where's y'all security? Like, how's y'all security so trash? But he's listening to them go back and forth, and Cobra state that it's exactly as it's written. The name of the Queen of Alabasta from 800 years ago, her name was Nefertari D. Lily, confirming that Queen Nefertari of Alabasta Kingdom is a part of the D clan, which means that Cobra, and to a more important extent, Vivi, is a part of the same clan as Luffy. Luffy and Vivi to the world, bruh. Aww. As soon as Cobra gets out that statement, a shadow forms as pierces Cobra through the chest. And due to Imu's reaction, it could be him that pierced Cobra with the shadow, although the direction that Cobra got stabbed from isn't exactly where Imu is. So it's a little bit weird the way that it's drawn. We don't exactly know. However, Sabo jumps into action here. He fire fists the whole place, putting himself between the Gorosei and Cobra. Here, Sabo pauses to think that, man, he really wishes that he had taken all of them out with this one attack, but the Gorosei start transforming. Now, we can't tell what forms they take, but they all look crazy. Some of them look like birds, bulls, and Imu has the biggest transformation of all. Very insane. This is also where the transponder stale starts snapping pictures, and this is where we got him standing next to the body of Nefertari Cobra in the paper. But Cobra's still barely alive here, and he's saying, hey, you're from the Revolutionary Army. You're Luffy's brother, right? And Sabo's like, wait, huh? You know Luffy? Where do you know Luffy from? And Cobra goes on to explain that he actually owes Luffy. Obviously, Luffy saved the Alabasta Kingdom from Crocodile. But he grabs Cobra and starts to run, and all the Gorosei and Im are chasing him. But Cobra gets his last words out. He says, listen, you can escape, so go on alone. It's too late for me, but I finally figured it out. Now, Sabo's such a real one here. He's really trying to get Cobra out of here, and he's trying to save Cobra's life. So give it up for Sabo. He's the MVP of the Reverie. This man linked up with Jewelry Bonnie to save Kuma. This man freed slaves, and this man tried to save Cobra, even though Cobra went in there on some real naive stuff. But Cobra goes on to say, listen, I need you to tell something to Luffy and Princess Vivi, that we too are D. Finally, I've seen the path that Alabasta must walk on. And Sabo has a flashback here to a conversation that he had with Luffy and Ace when they were kids, and he's like, is it a coincidence that both of you guys that just met have a D in the middle of your name? And neither of them care about it. Sabo's the only one with any kind of intuition. And they're saying, listen, who cares about that? We could put a D in the middle of your name. Sa-di-bo. Oh, man. But right after that, the shadow forms a spear again and pierces Cobra again. And it's crazy here. King Cobra falls here, and he gives Sabo his last words. He says, protect the poneglyphs. Hoist the flag of the dawn for the new world. I'm counting on you, Sabo. And standing up, giving Sabo his last mission. That is the last time we see King Cobra alive. And even though he went in there on some weirdo stuff, I gotta say, Cobra went out like a G. He's never really been particularly useful, but this was a cool way to go out. So rest in peace to King Nefertari Cobra of the Alabasta Kingdom. Much to our surprise, Im notices that somebody is peeping in on the whole situation through a peephole in the wall, and that is none other than Wapol. He saw the whole thing, and he's like, yo, my life is finished now. I really didn't want to know about this. Who was that guy? They just killed King Cobra, and Wapol goes instantly into panic mode. back in the room where the reverie is actually taking place, they're saying, listen, I don't know what happened to King Cobra, but he's not coming back, and neither is Wapol. Those two kings, yeah, they ain't coming back. We might as well just go on with the rest of the reverie. But here we see that King Neptune and King Riku, they sense something. They know something is off, but they don't mention anything here, and they continue along with business. Their next order of business is about the 4 countries that decided to be independent in the North Blue. Of course, we saw them refer to this when Sabo Ivankov referred to this in their plans when they were going over this in the present day in Kamabaka Queendom. From here, we cut to Princess Shirahoshi. She's fresh off getting saved by her brothers and, of course, Sai and Leo. So she's buzzing right now, and they're like, yo, let's go wait over here while we wait for the meeting to be done. And she's like, yeah, I just wanted to talk to Princess Vivi one more time, but I don't know where she went. From here, we cut to where Princess Vivi went, and now she's tied up by CP0 inside Pangea Castle. She's being held against her will, and she's saying, yo, let me go, let me out of here so I can tell the world what you did. And both Khalifa and Jabra are like, are you serious right now? Like, after telling us that, why would we let you go, right? And then she asks them, look, is Princess Shirahoshi at least okay? And they tell her straight up, yeah, you know, she's fine. As a matter of fact, the 2 underlings from Straw Hat beat up the Celestial Dragon and proudly claimed their victory. Now, guys, let's put a pin in it there for a second. This is bad. You have people from the Straw Hat Grand Fleet beating up Celestial Dragons in Marijoa and proudly proclaiming that they did it. Luffy's bounty is gonna go up to like 6 billion, dog. Like, this is not good. On top of that, Jabra goes on to say that Fujitora let the slaves freed by the Revolutionary Army escape, and that pissed off Green Bull, so they both got into a fight. Man, I'm so glad we're getting all this info now. Yo, this reverie is absolutely crazy indeed. So Jabra leans back and he's like, yeah, Princess Vivi, I need you to do something for me. But right as that moment happens, they hear rumbling going on through the wall, and at that very moment, Wapol bursts through the wall, chewing his way, trying to make his escape. He's saying, please save me, I didn't see anything. And Vivi's like, wait a second, Wapol, but that's it. And at that moment, Vivi jumps into Wapol's mouth. Of course, we know since Wapol has the Baku Baku no Mi, which basically means he can eat anything, and in this case, Vivi came up with a great plan that Wapol will be able to eat them to safety, right? So Vivi hops on in, and by the time they even realize it, CP0 is like, oh snap, Princess Vivi is gone. Wapol goes through a couple more walls, and his wife actually sees them here, and she's like, hey darling, I've been looking for you, but who is she? And Vivi's like, yo, Wapol, where are you actually going? And Wapol's like, anywhere but here. I'm going to the ends of the world where nobody can chase me. And Vivi's like, perfect, take me with you. And Wapol's wife is like, oh my God, you're eloping? End of the chapter. There's no break next week, and that chapter was absolutely jam-packed with information. Guys, like I said last week, Oda is just doing the craziest of the craziest stuff in these chapters on a weekly basis, so you gotta tune into these chapter reviews. Make sure you drop a like on the video, make sure you subscribe, tell me what you thought about this chapter. I said last week that it could be by the end of 2023 we know what the One Piece is with the way that Oda's going. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'll definitely make sure to respond. This has been your boy, your brother from another mother, Seafood That Guy, speaking to y'all with love from somewhere in my house. Make sure you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.